Every 4 years, the World Cup reminds us why we love football. It gives us shocking upsets, legendary performances, and underdog stories that no one saw coming. And with the next tournament fast approaching, fans are already trying to predict which nation will surprise the world. Some say it will be Norway, others point to Morocco, some even say Senegal. But there's one team almost nobody is talking about, and that team is the United States. This national team has been quietly brewing something special. With players like Pulisic, Weston McKennie, and Reyna, they have a good chance of making it far into this World Cup. But why do I think that they will go farther than the likes of Morocco? Well, we have to start off with Mr. Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic. For the latter part of a decade, he has held the responsibility and pressure of America's hopes for glory. He is the main man for the US and is by far the best player. Going into the World Cup, he provides leadership, experience, and most importantly, lots and lots of goals. And if this national team is to make it far into this tournament, it will be heavily through the efforts of Pulisic. He's coming off the back of a not-so-great season at AC Milan. However, he started off that season like a house on fire, ripping apart defenses, tormenting goalkeepers, and scoring plenty of goals. In those first 6 games, he got 4 goals and 2 assists. However, his momentum ended up being halted when he picked up a big hamstring injury and missed about a month of football. When he came back, he ended up going through a long drought of about 19 games where he didn't even score once. Without Milan's arguably best player, they fell off a cliff in the league. They finished the season in a disappointing 5th place, so it's safe to say Pulisic did not do great. But the thing is, no matter how bad he is doing for the club, he always manages to perform for his national team. But Pulisic is not the only talented player that this team has. Another major attacker is Reyna, who is the son of Claudio Reyna. He's one of the USA's most important players in terms of creating chances. He's a big X factor who can create something out of nothing and can bail the US out of tough situations. He is undoubtedly one of the US's most talented players, even though he is quite inconsistent. Recently, however, he's had an injury-riddled poor season at Mönchengladbach. He's only managed about 2 goals in the league, and oftentimes wasn't even picked to be a starter. Despite that though, he is trusted by the national team and Pochettino to come to the World Cup and make something happen. It's very possible that he might not be the starter at every World Cup game, but rather will be coming off the bench to create something special. But now we have to talk about the number 9 spot for the US men's national team. The 2 likely candidates are Ricardo Pepe and Balogun, although Balogun is the more likely person to start. His time in Ligue 1 over the last 4 years has been sensational. In about 109 games in the league, he's got 45 goals and 14 assists, which is very good at the age of 24. In particular, this season at Monaco, he's been their main striker scoring goals. He scored a brace in the Champions League final against PSG, the champions of Europe, and against them in the league, he led his side to a 3-1 victory, getting a goal and an assist. With how good he's been, it makes him the slight favorite to start over the 23-year-old Ricardo Pepe. Now that we have talked about the attack in great detail, it's time we talk next about a midfielder, Tyler Adams, who is coming off the back of a great season for Bournemouth. He's been a crucial piece of the Cherries' midfield this season, offering both defensive solidity and technical ability. His work rate and technical awareness make him an ideal fit for a system of high pressing, which is how the USA likes to play. His partner next to him is Weston McKennie, who has been playing along a very disappointing Juventus team. He, however, has been very good for them, playing the 90 minutes in practically every game. He's a very versatile midfielder that can score lots of goals, create chances for his attackers, and defend when he needs to. He's currently got 5 goals and 6 assists in 36 games for Juventus, only missing 2 games due to suspension and rest. Now, to start off our defense, we have the talented left back, Jedi Robinson. This season was an alright one for him, playing 22 times for Fulham in the Premier League. He's had a few injury problems with his knee, but has gotten back up to full fitness. In terms of his profile, he's a great defender and a great crosser as well, always looking for the overlap and putting crosses into the box. He's in the 94th and 97th percentile for tackles and interceptions in the back, as well as the 92nd percentile for crosses into the box, proving that he's a big threat in the attacking phase but is not a slouch defensively, holding his own against his winger. Next up is the heart of our defense, Chris Richards. He is arguably our most important center back. He's had a great season for Crystal Palace and one of the best seasons in their history where they won a European trophy. He's very good in the air and is consistently reliable in stopping attacks. Unfortunately for him, he suffered an injury back in May and was at risk of missing the World Cup. Thankfully, he will be fit enough to play, which is important considering the US will need him, along with the rest of the players that I mentioned and more. They'll all have to be ready and prepare for this World Cup. So far, they've done that through playing friendlies. Let's look at the 2 friendlies that the US has played in preparation for the World Cup. For example, they played one against Senegal, which ended in a 3-2 win for the USA, with Pulisic scoring 1 and assisting. This ended his 8-game goalless streak for the national team, the last time he scored being 2024. Throughout the game, they created plenty of chances and were unlucky not to score more. They outperformed on XG and created about 5 big chances throughout the match. Senegal did hold more of the possession and created lots of chances too, but the US backline held firm. Keep in mind their best center back in Chris Richards was unavailable to play, making it all the more impressive that they held back Senegal. They kept the likes of Iliman Ndiaye, Nicholas Jackson, and Papa Gueye very quiet. If not for Sadio Mane carrying the team throughout the game, the USA would have completely won in dominant fashion. Some of their best performers in that game were Serginho Dest, Pulisic, Robinson, and Balogun. Now, the other team that they went up against in this friendly was Germany, who they very narrowly lost to 2-1. In the first 20 minutes, Germany were all over the USA and scored very early off Kai Havertz, but the left back Anthony Robertson scored a brilliant volley off a set piece to tie it up. However, Sané scored and the Germans went on to win the game. But this wasn't a game that Germany dominated per se. In fact, the USA had more possession of the ball. They had more expected goals than Germany, had more shots, and the same amount of shots on target. In terms of attacking output, the USA were actually better than Germany. They just unfortunately could not take their chances. But we won't dwell on this loss too long, because the World Cup groups are finalized, and USA's group consists of Turkey, Paraguay, and Australia. On paper, the favorites to qualify from this group are undoubtedly the USA, and in practice, they should too. They have a great squad. And if they do so, the great thing for them is that they likely won't face a traditional big team such as France, Spain, Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, or Germany till at least the quarterfinals. Another thing that's on this team's side is that the USA has had underdog runs and big upsets in history before. Just last World Cup, they drew with England in the group stages, an England team who were one game penalty away from a semi-final in the tournament. And of course in 2002, they made an infamous run. In the group stages, they were up against a tough group of Poland, South Korea, who were the hosts and at the time the best Portuguese side likely in history. But this team managed to make a massive upset, winning 3-2 against Portugal and completely knocking their star-studded squad out of the competition. They finished second in the group and went on to face Mexico, who they comfortably beat 2-0, and for the first time made it to the quarterfinals, where they narrowly lost to Balak's Germany with a goal from him. However, there was a very controversial call in the game when a German player cleared the ball away with his hand, but the referee refused to award a penalty. Had it not been for that, the USA would have made the semifinals, where they would have faced South Korea, and who knows what would have happened. What that USA team achieved was something special, and made the global sport of football more popular in America. The likes of Landon Donovan, Claudia Reyna, Brian McBride, and others made something special that the American people could celebrate, and it looks like the 2026 World Cup could be the same. Both teams were in Group D, and both teams had one standout player, being Pulisic and Donovan. Claudio Reyna, who was so important in 2002, has a son in Gio Reyna, who will be an important piece in this tournament. What's even better is that they have the big advantage of being on home soil. They'll have the support of thousands of screaming Americans who are hungry to finally see some success. And with the mastermind Mauricio Pochettino behind it all, he'll be instrumental in platforming his players to be the best they can be. This new generation of players is on the cusp of succeeding, with the roaring American crowd on home soil behind them. Greatness is not measured in trophies alone, but in the moments when doubt turns into belief, and teams that are overlooked prove everybody wrong. South Korea 2002, Ukraine 2006, Ghana 2010, Colombia 2014, Croatia 2018, Morocco 2022, and finally, the torch is being passed on to the USA.